What's going on, guys? How y'all doing today? I wanted to cover three things in today's video, mainly three things: feedback, e-brake, and throttle control. First thing, for some reason, I don't know why YouTubers don't talk about feedback in their videos. When I first started drifting on a wheel, or driving period on a wheel, I probably watched at least 40 to 50 videos, and no YouTubers talk about feedback. A lot of YouTubers, not all of them, Goosiest and Slaptrain will tell you you definitely want to have an e-brake for drifting, and you want to practice your throttle control. Definitely recommend Goosiest. Slaptrain doesn't really have any tutorials, he just kind of does videos, but you know, both good, reputable, big wheel drifters that I could, you know, say their names right off the bat and you guys probably know who they are. Goosiest has got some really good stuff on his channel. I'd check him out. I've learned a lot from him. But I wanted to get in deep about everything. And first thing, feedback. As I said, secondly, e-brake, and then throttle control. For some reason, a lot of YouTubers that do tutorials tell you, bro, you need to learn to drift without an e-brake. You don't need an e-brake. That's going to give you bad habits. You need to learn to drift without an e-brake. That is some of the worst advice I've ever heard. I use the e-brake constantly. I use the e-brake to initiate drifts. I use the e-brake to control my speed through a drift. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is feedback. Come into my settings. Steering wheel feedback in CarX Drift Racing Online is 0.35. And I do adjust it accordingly to different vehicles here and there. And you'll see Slaptrain and Goosiest will hit a button on their steering wheel, or they'll turn a knob. They're adjusting their feedback on their steering wheel. Now, in CarX Street, some of the wheel support is there for a lot of wheels, but it doesn't feel as good as this game. I first started drifting in Assetto Corsa, which I definitely do not recommend. That game is extremely difficult to drift on a wheel. I don't know about controller. I've never once played that game on a controller. But in CarX Street, the Nissan 240SX, my feedback is set at 0.045. Then in the Viper, I don't know why it feels completely different, but in the Viper, my feedback is 0.085. So, you know, my feedback is literally almost doubled, which is just crazy. And the feedback at 0.45 to 0.85 with those two different vehicles in that game feels the same. You want to try to keep the same feedback as what you're going to be used to, so that way you can keep that muscle memory. And also, a lot of other guys talk about the degrees of the wheel. I don't recommend going to 900 right off the bat. I would recommend starting at 540. You know, drive like that for a couple weeks. When you get to where you start connecting corners and stuff like that, maybe move up to 720. And then when you get to where you're like, damn man, I'm getting so good, I feel like a god right now, then move up to 900. You don't want to just start right off the bat at 900. For some reason, a lot of a-hole YouTubers say, oh, you want to just jump to 900, you don't want to create any bad habits. Dude, that is some of the worst advice I've also ever heard. Goosiest will tell you to start out at low degrees, then move your way up. Man, my daughter is going nuts in the next room. But, yeah, I would take Goosiest's advice, a guy with 2 million subscribers, a very reputable guy that holds drifting competitions. I would take his advice over some guy that, you know, has 40 subscribers and puts up clip on clip on clip on clip on clip of his drifts and is just talking out his ass. But let's go ahead and get into some actual driving here. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about controlling speed with your e-brake and your feedback. When you're... Oh, I'm feeling no feedback on my wheel at all. That's weird. I don't know why that is. Maybe that's because my settings are set to... No, it's not on controller. My wheel feedback is there. That's weird. Why am I not getting feedback at all? I need to restart the race probably. I've never had that happen in this game. That's weird. I might have to Yeah, let me replug my controller. Or replug my steering wheel in, let that calibrate. Now I'm getting feedback. But yeah, you cannot drift without feedback. It is very difficult because the feedback is going to help you hold the angle while you're drifting. And like here, you see I'm e-braking a lot to control my speed and initiate drifts coming into corners. And see the angle I'm holding? The feedback right now is holding that angle for me. It's almost like steering assist on a controller. And I am running no assist, you saw in the menus there. Also, you need to get good at letting the wheel flow through your hands. Too much speed, control it with the e-brake. Throttle control through the corners. And see how I just let the wheel flow through my hands. You can basically drift. Once you start getting decent, you can basically drift with one hand. Too much speed. I'm just drifting very slow right now. Usually I'd be running some tandems all night long. You know, some of you guys have seen the streams. But I mainly wanted to make a tutorial for a friend of mine and also not new viewers, but new people to a wheel, because I got a lot of bad advice from a lot of random YouTubers that I wish I would have never seen. See how the feedback basically just controls, like watch this. The feedback controls the car. Basically, let the feedback in. You need to set your feedback strong enough to where you can control it and you're not fighting the wheel. You know, based on your size, your weight, your arm length, the leverage that your arms is going to matter. So just straight copying somebody else's settings might not work for you. And like here, throttle control. See how I ease up? Just easing on the throttle. Instead of just banging that red line 24/7. Get a little wall tap there. And in a minute here, I am going to go into a different map. And I'll show you throttle control in a circle and what I would recommend going and learning. Now this is a map I definitely recommend if you guys are first learning. See how I'm controlling the drift here with the wheel, or not the wheel, with the throttle. But I definitely recommend coming to this map because it is very big, it's very open. And you could just practice this area right here. Practice your throttle control. Practice the feedback on your wheel. And I don't recommend copying my feedback because you could be a 4 foot nothing little guy that weighs, 700 pounds, and you might be able to yank that wheel around like it's nothing. Or you could be a 7 foot tall gargantuan built like a monster that's also super strong. I'm a little skinny guy. I don't recommend copying my settings. Maybe take like what I have and go from there. But see, just work on throttle control instead of spinning out. You know what I mean? Just flooring it and spinning out. Come to a big map like this, and if you get bored of just being on this map, go to a different one. But I highly recommend this map just because of the openness. Also, LA Block's a good one too. But there's really not many obstacles out in the open areas to drift around. And then once you start to master that, You can come into some of these other areas. This is why I like this map and I recommend it for new drivers. Practice working on your e-brake through city areas. And see how I just control sweeping side to side with the throttle and let the wheel flow through my hands. Control your speed with the e-brake. Too fast, control the speed with the e-brake. And this is what I'm talking about, where a lot of other YouTubers were all saying, oh, you need to learn to drift without an e-brake. Yeah, it's good to know how to drift, use your throttle, and just drift without an e-brake. But you're going way too fast. Like, look at this. I control my speed a lot with the e-brake. Especially when I'm doing tandems. Like, say I'm coming through a corner. I'm gonna go create a scenario over here. Me and a guy are getting it sideways right now. I'm picking up too much speed. See how I'm just still going sideways? You can slide a very long time just using the e-brake. Too much speed, e-brake. Staying sideways with the guy. You know what I'm saying? I use the e-brake a lot. Man, I don't know why there are so many YouTubers out there that say you need to learn to drift without an e-brake. But say we're tandeming through this S-curve, I'm picking up too much speed, getting a gap from him. Or say there's a guy in front of me right now. I'm trying to tandem with him. I'm picking up way too much speed, right? I can just e-brake through the corner and stay right on him while staying sideways next to him. And in a minute here, I'm going to go hop on a controller and show you guys a little bit of drifting on a controller. And show you what, my setup I use for controller drifting. Because I do like to drift on a controller occasionally, especially in Forza. Let's hop on that controller. Alright, now here we are in the controller. And one of the things I want to show you is my binds that I use for drifting, and I recommend anybody who controller drifts. A for your e-brake. X to downshift, B to upshift. So this way, your thumb never has to come off the e-brake or the shifting buttons. And another thing, just like on the wheel, throttle control. See, throttle and steering control, look at the little blue bar over there. You can see I'm technically not holding the stick 100%. I'm just working the throttle control. Come up a gear. Now let's go into the city area. Downshift and hit the e-brake at the same time. That's why most pro players play on controller. Like, and I'm not just talking like, oh man, I whacked. I'm not used to a controller right now. I haven't driven this game much on a controller at all. But most actual professional players that compete for money, they all play on controller. I don't know of a single pro player that plays on wheel, just like the players in COD. Call of Duty, they all play controller. There is not one pro player that plays mouse and keyboard. But same thing as on the wheel, you transfer, throttle control, e-brake to slow down. While you're tandeming, you can use your e-brake to sit right next to a guy. You're getting too much speed. Work your e-brake. Get used to these motions. Throttle control over the bumpy areas, which are much more sensitive on a wheel. Alright, let's go ahead and I'm going to hop into Forza and show you guys some drifting over there. Alright, here we are in Forza. Oh, and also if you guys need some tunes, I will be uploading some wheel drift tunes over the next, week and so on. I am not very good on a controller, disclaimer, but I think I'm almost getting to the point where I'm almost better on wheel than I am at controller. Which I never thought I would say that, but it took me about 3 months to get, 4 months probably to get where I'm at. And when you guys start out, you are going to crash. A lot. I crashed a lot. Like, I'm not even lying. But this is one thing I wanted to show you guys is just coming into multiple games on the controller, how the same, binds on the controller work. Because I keep my gears, like there, I can downshift and e-brake at the same time. That's why I run the binds that I do, and like a friend of mine, when he drifts on controller, he has his controller binded in every game he drifts on to use the bumper, so when he's going and changing gears, he's either having to let off the brakes or let off the gas and then switch to hit the bumper to change gears. And I notice he has a lot of spin outs, or he'll have dead areas where he'll just go like this and then he'll stop drifting. Yeah, I'm talking about you. You know who you are. But he's a very new drifter. He just started drifting on wheel. And I definitely recommend, if you're a controller drifter, to copy these key setups, because downshift for X, upshift for B, and A for your e-brake, once you get used to running those, you are gonna thank me later, I promise you. Like there, I downshift fourth, control my speed, while using the e-brake at the same time. It just makes it so simple. And this is a setup I've been using for almost 20 years. I've been driving like this since the first Forza came out. Literally the first Forza on the original Xbox. That was the... You could choose like 3 different type of setups. You could use like the bumpers to shift and stuff like that. And I noticed that I could change for A to be the e-brake and X and B to be my shifting buttons. As soon as I saw that, I changed to those immediately. I think I was like 12. And I've been using these same binds ever since. It just makes life so much easier. And I wanted to make the controller thing on the screen, I don't know if you call it schematic or overlay, whatever it's called. I wanted to make that nice and big so you guys could see everything that my controller is doing. Downshift and e-brake at the same time. Downshift, e-brake at the same time. It just makes it so much easier. Instead of having to take your trigger off the finger, or your finger off the trigger, I'm speaking backwards here. But instead of having to take your finger off the trigger, or using your knuckle to shift while you're hitting the gas, that is a massive pain. And it can also cause your knuckle to go sore. Like the inside of your finger on the inside of your knuckle. I definitely don't recommend doing that. That's probably what a friend of mine was doing. And it will definitely make you hurt over time. And just so you guys know, like I said, I don't drift on a controller much anymore. I just wanted to hop into Forza because I know this is an easy game. I use simulation steering for this game. I'm not very good on the wheel with it yet. Maybe it could just be my settings, but the force feedback does not feel very good in this game. It doesn't seem to be responsive. The weight transfer, like when you get on the e-brake, for some reason the force feedback, see, like I said, you're gonna spin out. You're gonna crash, you're gonna spin out, you're gonna mess your friends up when you're trying to hit a tandem. It's gonna happen. Take your bumps and bruises and move on to the next corner. I don't really throttle control much in this game. I just basically floor it everywhere in this game. But I wanted to show you guys this game specifically because of the simple fact that this is much higher speed drifting, which could also be another reason why I'm so bad at drifting on a wheel in this game. And like I was saying, I don't know why I can drift decently in Assetto Corsa. I got multiple videos of Assetto on the channel to prove that. But I cannot drift on a wheel in this game. It could just possibly be my feedback settings. I'll get there though. We will get there eventually. Well, there we are. We are at the top of the mountain. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If this video did help you, please come back and drop a comment and let me know. Like I was saying, make sure that you have a good feedback setting on your wheel. Because if you don't, if you're a wheel drifter, I wanted to cover some controller too, so I'm sure any of the wheel drifters probably clicked off as soon as they saw controller, but if you guys are still here and you're trying to learn wheel, make sure you have a good feedback feel. And I know being new, you're not going to know what's good or not, but you need to have enough feedback to the point that you're not fighting the wheel or ripping the wheel. Like say you got a Logitech like me and it's just the default mounts, the stock mounts, whatever you call it. You don't want to have so much feedback that you're ripping the wheel off the table or your desk or whatever. I definitely recommend having it bolted down. Mine is not, but if it were bolted down I could probably run much higher feedback and probably have a lot better drifting than what I do. But if you guys are still here, please drop me a comment down below. Let me know if this video helped you. I will catch you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one.